I've been told I've got a face for radio, right? And that's okay. But I've also been told I got a face for cuckolding. Does anybody know what that is? Okay. If you don't, it's where someone offers you, money to have sex with their partner, while they watch. And it's fucking strange. It is. But it's, lucrative. And so, I'm in Vegas the other day and I'm playing slot machine. This older man, Daddy Warbucks walks up to me and, he's like, hey man, big fans, me and my wife watch the show all the time, but love you. He's like, hey man, we're in Vegas, we're renewing our vows. He goes, man, it's on my bucket list if you'll, have sex with my wife while I watch. He said, I'll be willing to give you $1,000. I said, all right, well, let's take a look at her at least and see. Let's take a gander, shall we? And he whistles. And this fucking transformer comes crawling up out of the vending machine. It actually was the vending machine that turned into a woman, and she's fucking leathery, Her skin, she looked like a fucking Buick seat, like a old Buick seat with the seams bursting, cotton coming out of it, And I said, hey man, I'm gonna have to pass, I go to walk away, and he slaps me on the fucking shoulder. He pulls me around. He says, hey man, I fucking need this. I said, hey man, I don't. He said, I'll give you $4,000. I said, hey man, Buick's not that bad of a car. Just take it for a spin, No, but on some real shit, cuckolding, that was for you guys. I want y'all. And it's actually the couple right in front that they sat right here. So, thanks for coming to see me. But no, that cuckolding joke is referenced because this is a true story. And this is my life right now. And I want to share this with you. There's a little nighttime ballerina down there in Austin, stripper, right? And she's a good friend of mine. She's the smartest woman I've ever met in my life. She does my taxes. She has a master's in statistics, okay? But she lives and leads a fucking weird kind of life. She does these little sex party things. I think she's dominatrix, not 100% sure. But, whatever, get your bag, girl. I don't give a shit, But she calls me the other day, and I'm at the house. It's like a Wednesday night, right? I'm fucking higher than giraffe pussy. I'm watching The Sopranos. And telephone ring, I answer, and I said, hello? And she says, hey. She said, if I gave you $3,500, would you come down here where I'm at and fuck me in front of one of my clients while he watches? Says, I'm gonna be cash or check, And I said, well, is he gonna touch me or is there some weird shit? She goes, no, he ain't gonna touch you. Just come fuck me. I go, let me shower, And I started driving over there. Now on some real shit, you can look this up when you get out of here. In Austin right now, there is a serial killer going around called the Rainy Street Wrangler, okay? And over the past 3 years, he's unkilled 40 some odd people, right? And what he does is he kills people that fit my description to a T. Boys coming out of the gay bars. I don't know why it's my description, but it's the street on the gay bar street, and he kills these gay guys and he throws them in Lady Bird Lake, and they find their bodies all drowning and shit. And I'm driving over to this house in the middle of the fucking country outside Austin. I go, he might live here. That might be the Rainy Street Wrangler, So I pull up, there's a gate. She comes inside, and she comes outside, lets me in the gate, and I drive in, and I pull up and drive in. And I said, hey, what exactly am I getting myself into? She goes, well, it's going to be a little strange. I said, yeah, I drove 45 minutes knowing that it's going to be pretty fucking strange. I mean, I've never met this guy, and she said, well, he's wearing his wife's thong, okay, and it's on backwards, and his little wiener's hanging out, and he only speaks in grunts, That's Range Street Wrangler. I'm gonna die, but I done drove 45 minutes, so let's go see, and so we'll go up to the door, and he greets us at the door, and he is wearing his wife's thong. It is on backwards, his little baby wiener just blowing out in the breeze, and I'm trying to be optimistic, because as I'm walking up to the door, I'm like, this is probably some decrepit 70-year-old man. Just trying to live out a little sexual fantasy, He's just trying to, he's fucking trying to get rid of his money before he dies. He wants to spend on some wild shit, some freak shit, okay? But when he answered the door, he's wearing his wife's thong and his wiener's on backwards, but he's not some old man. He's not, some decrepit 73-year-old. He's 6'5", he's 285 pounds, and he's in his mid-40s. And he does speak in grunts. It sounds like a fucking diesel engine trying to start in the morning. But he invited me inside, and it being impolite, not to go inside. So I went inside, okay? And when I'm fucking inside there, I'm sitting on the couch, and look, like, it's kind of a weird situation. Now, this I knew was gonna be weird, so I took 2 Cialises, okay? Because I'm a fucking show pony, okay? Starch professional, okay? But I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a little weird situation now, because I'm standing with this fucking weirdo stranger and his wife's thong and old girl, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get hard, even with the medicine, and she can kind of notice this is going on. She said, baby, hold on, I'll fix it, And so she takes a sip of beer, and she spits her beer in that boy's face, and she slaps him across the mouth, and she calls him a bitch-ass faggot. And she takes her stiletto and she fucking high kicks his throat to the back of the wall like that, okay? Like that, okay? Got him pinned up against the wall like that. And I'm hard as a fucking rock, okay? Hard as a rock, okay? And she leads us to that back bedroom. She leads us back. We get down in there, and we get into bed. I'll never forget this. At the foot of the bed was a wicker basket chair, okay? And I don't know if y'all have wicker basket or know what that is, but in the South, that's outside furniture, okay? And my grandmama would have seen that. Somebody's ass is getting whooped, And she sits him down in a little wicker basket chair, and she ties him up with what looked to be like ribbons, like tying him, locking him into this chair. And I go, that's not gonna stop him. If he wants to get up, he can, He don't even have to say, excuse me. He's just gonna stand up, okay? And we get to fucking, and he's sitting in that chair just, and I'm just trying to pinky blinder this motherfucker out. He's and all of a sudden he starts ripping these fucking ribbons off this chair, and he stands up. And I'm, sit the fuck down, man! Sit the fuck down, you're making me nervous, And then he talks in complete sentences, and he says, whoa, man, I didn't mean to startle you. He said, I'm just trying to put on some cuckolding music to set the mood. I said, man, I didn't know there was a Spotify playlist for that. He says, yeah, let me show you, So there I am fucking this girl while this stranger's over there going, while the fucking stereo is blasting the greatest hits of Creed. 6 feet from the air, did I? What I'm saying? And so I finish, she goes to the bathroom, gets a towel, she's a real one, and I was sitting there putting my pants back on while he's just in that chair going, thanks for having me, And I get ready to get my things, get ready to go, and she comes up to me, she says, oh, here's your money. She goes, hey, I want you to let you know, though, I'm about to piss on her for $7,000, okay? And I got a tarp in the back of my truck, and if you go get it out the truck for me, lay it down, make sure everything's level, it goes smooth, I'll give you an extra $1,000. And I said, look, I've had a great time here tonight. I I think I'm gonna go home and watch The Sopranos. Thanks for, see you next time, I get down that road and I'm driving. It's like 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, I gotta tell somebody about this. This doesn't just happen on a Wednesday all the time, So I call my therapist, which is my mother, I tell my mom what went down and she just goes, Pfft. She goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? I said, Mom, it's $3,500. She goes, no. She said, I fucking raised you better than that, boy. I said, but don't make me feel bad. I said, I gotta pay bills and shit, woman, you ain't doing that. She goes, no, I raised you to be a gentleman, didn't I? And I said, yes, ma'am, you did. And she said, well, a gentleman would turn that truck around, go get that tarp out the back of that girl's fucking car, lay it on the ground and give me that $1,000 because my fucking birthday's next week, motherfucker, and I need that new Dyson vacuum cleaner. I had a woman from Tallahassee, Florida slide in my DMs, and I get some weird shit in my DMs from time to time, but this one was just so goddamn aggressive, I was just like, this bitch is in season. She comes in, she goes, hey! I got a plane ticket with your name on it. You come down to Tallahassee, Florida, and you fucking blow my back out and rearrange my insides. And I said, Happy Easter to you too. How are you doing today? He is risen, She said, yeah, I'll get you a plane ticket. You come down right down and you come break me off a piece. I said, all right, I'm free after church on Sunday. I'll be there. She said, but before I get you that plane ticket, I'm gonna need to see a picture of that hog. I'm gonna need to see that wiener. Fun fact, I ain't got no hog. I got more of a lucky rabbit's foot, if you will. Field mouse dick is what they were calling me. But it's for a plane ticket, so. Daddy Warbucks, what's your name, old son? Daddy to me. All right, Daddy. Yeah, I was right the first time. I love this motherfucker so much. Listen here, Daddy. I take it this is your lovely wife. No? Oh, y'all just friends? Trying to find somebody for the end of the world with, you know what I'm saying? I get it. But let me ask you, are y'all in some kind of situationship, or she's your beneficiary on the will? What is it? What are we talking about? I don't want to know. Okay. Well, let me ask you, but y'all are together to some degree. Okay, I could tell. Y'all smell the same. Like y'all escaped from the old folks' home. And let me ask you something. And I don't know how long y'all been together, but it seems to be like pretty prevalent, pretty good long time. Y'all look very happy. And have you ever sent a wiener pic before? Like via Telegram or whatever, horse and coach, whatever you gotta. Have you ever sent a wiener pic? Oh, but he showed me his foot. This son of a bitch right here, dude. Look at that fucking goddamn thing. Right. Well, don't hit her with it, son. Hell, you don't want to kill her. Look at that motherfucker right there. You know what they say about big sandals? Big socks. So you don't need to send a wiener pic. They just look at them Jerusalem Cruisers number 9s and say, man's got a dick on him. This is probably the best show I've ever had in my entire life because you sat right there. Test result says he's not the father. Now look, here's the thing. Here's the thing about sending wiener pics. Don't do it. Wieners are ugly. I have one. And I love my wiener now. I put it everywhere. Hot tub jets, electrical sockets. I once took a shop vac and sucked all the foreskin off my wiener, okay? I ain't been to a water park since the accident, okay? But this is a plane ticket now. She's gonna give me a full-ass plane ticket. I said, fuck it. Columbus took a chance, you know? And I sent it off to her. And she goes, she opens it, she just responds with that ha-ha emoji. I said, what's so funny, bitch? She goes, bad news. I'm not gonna be able to get you that plane ticket. So you low on funds? You want me to half it with you? You want me to half it? And she says, no. You just have a vagina, you know? She said, but I do like it. And I like to still have you come out. She goes, I'll tell you what, I'll be willing to get you a Greyhound bus ticket. He liked that. Oh, man. You used to drive those motherfuckers around in the 50s, didn't you? Son of a bitch. My man, I got him. I like that. Yeah, she tried to give me this Greyhound bus ticket. And that's a 17-hour ride from Austin, you know, to Tallahassee. And I said, listen here, bitch. I might have been born just a plain white trash, but fancy was my name, and I'm not getting on no motherfucking Greyhound bus. You hear me? I'm not just not gonna do it, okay? I know my worth, okay? So a couple days went by, and we worked something out there where if my mom would drop me off, her mom would bring me back. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Some of y'all know me from Kill Tony. I don't know if you, yeah, okay. Great show, love that show. Tony's a good buddy of mine, and but a couple months back, you know, I'm glad it's over. Like I don't really give a fuck if you're Republican or Democrat or Lesbitarian. I don't really give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. I just was glad I was just waiting for the election to be over because everybody get on fucking talking shit. Who gives a fuck, bro? We're still paying taxes, you know. But, you know, Tony got invited. Tony Hinchcliffe does Kill Tony. And Tony Hinchcliffe got invited to go to Madison Square Garden to speak at Trump's rally there. And he went up there and said some shit about the Puerto Rican people. And he said there's a big island of trash in the middle of the ocean. And it's Puerto Rico, you know. And I guess no one had told him, you know, that there were 500,000 Puerto Ricans living in Pennsylvania at the Hershey factory. That's where they're working. And Pennsylvania's a swing state. It damn near cost Trump the election, you know. And I'll be honest with you, I know 500,000 Puerto Ricans live in Pennsylvania. I didn't know 500,000 Puerto Ricans lived in fucking Puerto Rico, okay? I didn't know it was a state. I thought it was a peninsula or something. And we were supposed to hang out for the election, big party, and he had to go into hiding because they were trying to cancel him behind the shit, like woke culture or whatever. And the only reason I knew that, you know, it was okay to come outside and that the election was over is because I saw Tony Hinchcliffe crawl out of Joe Rogan's basement. And he saw his shadow on the ground. And it meant 4 more years of Trump, you know? And I was just like, whoa, you know?